What's going on, Materos? Hello, friends. Hello, strangers. Hello, world. Hello, planet Earth. This is Dave Mate. For those of you that don't know me, don't worry. You don't need to know me. I'm just somebody that loves Yerba Mate. I just did what all Materos do at least once in their lives, usually once a day. Spill the mate. I just spilled the mate all over myself. So let me remedy that before we continue, because otherwise it's going to be all over for the whole time. This is live, unedited. Just keeping it real, guys. So anyone that jumps in on this circle, if I ignore you, I'm not really ignoring you. I'm just kind of speaking for the first 20 minutes or so. If anybody wants to jump in after that to talk to, if you have questions, anything like that, then that's going to be great. But right now, I just want to keep it simple and just share some of my ideas without necessarily having a discussion with multiple people. That's all good and well for most of the circles. But today, I just kind of want to get it out there. And then after the discussion, after I talk, then anybody that has questions or wants to jump in the circle, feel free. So just a little introduction. Dave Mate. I love yerba mate. Yerba mate is an herb from South America. It's really good. I could go on and on and on. You probably have seen many of my videos. If you haven't, you'll see tons of them if you search around for this term, yerba mate. It's a very powerful herb from South America. You drink it, and it just gives you clarity of mind. For me, it gives me peace. It just gives me energy. It gives me everything I need just to sustain life. I know that sounds a little bombastic and, out there, but that's just the real deal for me. All I could do is talk about my own truth. Everyone else, you got to find your own truth as well. So today I want to talk about some things that I hold dear to myself. Obviously, yerba mate, but I also want to talk about yoga, and I want to talk about fasting. Now, I always say this in my videos, you got to do your own research. Don't take what I'm saying as truth. Not to say I'm lying, I don't lie, but what I'm saying is you got to do your own research. Talk to your own medical practitioners, talk to your own family members before you do anything like fasting or even yoga or even drink a mate or anything. Talk to yourself first, find out the truth first, and then proceed. Oftentimes a lot of people watch my videos and like, all right, Dave must be telling, the truth. He must be, saying the right words. So I'm going to do whatever he says. No, don't do whatever I say. What I'm doing right now is just trying to inspire you and just sharing my life with you. That's all I could do. If you go and start to practice yoga after this video, great. That'll be awesome. If you start to do fasting after this video, that'll be awesome. But you don't have to. You could just watch this video and grab some information, maybe grab the best parts and throw away the rest. It's up to you guys. All right. So yoga. I started doing yoga about 10 years ago. I can't say how I started doing it. I don't know. I was living in Manhattan at the time, and I just started reading a lot about Eastern philosophy, and it just came to me almost, I don't know, randomly. I just said, all right, let me try yoga. And I signed up for a yoga studio, and I just started really getting into yoga. And it changed my life in many ways. For those of you that aren't familiar with yoga, I'm sure you heard of it already. It's basically a system that has been around for over 5,000 years, a system of uniting the mind, uniting the body, uniting the spirit. That's all yoga seeks to do. Now, there is a physical aspect of yoga where there's exercise moves and asanas. And just keep in mind, I'm not a yoga expert. I'm just a practitioner sharing my own story. And then there's all sorts of types of yoga, what you would call hot yoga, where they heat up the room. There's different yogas where it's very fast-paced, very strong and strengthening type of yoga. There's other yoga where it's very slow and calming and easy, and you're really building energy, harnessing energy. Then there's some yogas that lean more towards philosophy, just speaking about uniting the mind, speaking about uniting the body, all different types of yoga. research it, Google it, go onto YouTube. I'll probably put some links in this video where you could actually perform some yoga with some really good instructors on YouTube, which I like to do from time to time. But essentially, yoga means to unite, to yoke, to bring together everything. Now, throughout this video, I kind of want to interweave the connections between mate and yoga and mate and fasting, and just try to share my story. So yoga, if you've never done it before, I recommend look into it. It has a way of really just energizing the body. There's a lot of benefits to the body and to the mind, but for me personally, yoga is a philosophy for me. It's a way of life. Yes, I'm a part of, yoga studio, yoga at the gym. I do yoga on my own, yoga. But for me, yes, I like the physical aspects of yoga. That's cool. Strengthening the muscles, strengthening the body, strengthening the core, getting toned, getting fit. That's all great. But for me, that is subservient to the mental and spiritual aspects. For me, those are primary. Those are the first things I'm concerned with. The freeing myself, freeing my mind, freeing my soul, being free of, a lot of things that just weigh us down. For me, yoga is a remedy to that. So, when I started doing yoga, I didn't know anything about mate. But when I found out about mate in 2008, started drinking it, I found that it really helped me with yoga. There's a lot of similarities with mate and yoga in some ways, because mate helps to relax you. Mate helps to kind of ease the mind and let go. So what I like to do is when I'm performing yoga, usually when I do it on my own, when I'm not at the gym or the studio, I'll just drink some mate before I do yoga. I'll start to get into my asanas, start to move around, start to hold my poses. And then what I like to do is after yoga, directly after yoga, I like to drink mate. Now, the good thing about drinking mate directly after yoga is because after yoga, your body needs to basically rest. There's different poses after yoga called like a corpse pose or dead man's pose, where you're just resting. Now, the rest thing is good for many things. When you're just literally laying on your back, it's good because you're allowed to basically absorb the momentum, absorb the power, absorb the prana, the chi of the practice that you just created. But there's also science behind the resting period after yoga, where your body needs to basically disperse of the lactic acid, that acid that gets built up through tension when you're holding on to different poses. And there actually has been some research showing that yerba mate has been able to successfully reduce lactic acid. So I think for me, yerba mate is really good to drink after yoga. And again, remember, yoga is not just a physical exercise. Yes, there's great things about it. If you do yoga, you may lose weight. You probably will lose weight. You will get stronger, mentally, physically stronger. You will feel better. You will be healthier. You will detox your internal organs by all the different contortions and twists that you perform throughout the practice. You'll just be a happier person, in my opinion. Yoga for me is like medicine. It's absolutely necessary for me. I couldn't even think of not performing yoga. I'm so happy I found out about it 10 years ago. And, no matter where I've been in the world, I've been in several countries over the past 10 years. And no matter where I've been, I'm either performing yoga on my own, whether it's in a hotel or at a hostel or at an apartment I'm renting, wherever I'm at in the world. Or if I could find a yoga studio, I try to sign up for the studio that I could find. Or I'll just turn on YouTube, go onto YouTube and just find some yoga. There's great yoga on YouTube. I think there's a yoga called Yoga with Adriene. Yoga with Adriene. I highly recommend her. I just went through her 30-day Yoga Revolution Challenge. Just Google that on YouTube. Find that on YouTube, Yoga Revolution Challenge. And I highly recommend her class. Wow, her class was great. The thing about yoga is that you always remain a student. No matter how advanced you become, no matter how many poses you learn, it's always good to just go back to the beginning, go back to the regular poses, go back to the basics and just learn more, master more poses. And again, more than the poses, more than the physical exercise, yoga is uniting the mind, the body, the spirit all together. Yoga is a philosophy, for me at least. It's a philosophy. It's a way of life. It's a way of conducting yourself. I found that mate really is compatible with that sort of yogic lifestyle. Those of you that don't know about mate, like I said, it's really good at just making you feel kind of happy, making you feel better. Not to say that mate is the panacea for everything, absolutely not. But those of you who have been drinking mate for a while now, you just have to admit to yourself that, yes, mate does make you feel good. There's no science behind this. There's no scientific proof that has unequivocally proven mate to be a happiness inducer, but millions of people all throughout the world have agreed upon this. They know this. They know what mate does. I'm drinking mate the traditional way. Just a little segue into some of the mate tradition. Out of a gourd and a bombisha, which is a metal straw, you just pour the hot water in like this, and then you drink it. And for me, I just drink mate all day long. I literally drink it from the moment I wake up until I used to drink it until the whole entire day, until literally I took that last sip before I would go to bed. But now I kind of stopped drinking it maybe at around 10, which for some people that's probably still late. But for me, I don't know. It just works. I could drink it pretty much all day long. One of the reasons I drink mate all day long is because it just enhances my I guess what we could call energy, my internal energy, my chi or prana or whatever you want to call it. You could just call it energy. I find that sipping mate all day long, literally all day long, just keeps my mind in a state where it needs to be. I do a lot of reading, several hours of reading every single day. I do a lot of creative work, different types of art, photography. I do a lot of different things with finance and stocks and things like this, all different sorts of things. I'm just a crazy person doing all different sorts of things. Obviously, I run a business as well. And I find that mate, I kind of almost need it. You know, for the way that my brain works, the amount of data that I'm processing all day long throughout my brain, constantly absorbing information. This is why I need yerba mate. This is why I need yoga. This is why I need meditation, because these things help me to stop the thinking, stop the maneuvering and the manipulation of the neurons and the creation of new neurons, all these things that are happening and firing off in my brain. The mate and the yoga and the meditation, I'll save the meditation video for another day. These things help me to press pause on the mind. It's kind of like you just can't keep the motor running on your car all day long. If you keep the motor running on your car, the car's going to break. If you keep your computer running 24/7, your computer is going to be over processing, and it's going to slow down. And the RAM, the random active memory, is not going to be properly utilized, and things are going to happen. Your hard drive may crash. The same thing with the body, same thing with the mind, and the same thing with the spirit. You have to create space. Space now is an interesting topic. Space. What is space? You know, we need space in our minds. For some people, this may be kind of hard to conceptualize. Space in your mind. Don't overly think what I'm saying. It's not about physical space per se. It's about energetic space, space of energy. I find that yoga creates this space because all day long we're thinking about, the average person is thinking about the future. They're thinking about the past. They're thinking about, you know, things that make them anxious, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their family members, people that have harmed you, people that have said bad things to you. Let's face it, guys, we're living in a world where there's a lot of craziness going on. There's a lot of craziness going on. There's a lot of expectations. You got to be this, you got to be that, you got to go to this place, you got to go to this Ivy League school, you have to go get this, you know, 6-figure paying job. You got to go, you know, you have to become a millionaire, or you have to go live out in the city, or you have to. All these have to's are disrupting your energy. They disrupt your natural being, who you are as a person, who you're meant to be, what your destiny is. There's a constant onslaught of just these opposing forces trying to mold you into something that they want you to be. Now, I'm not going to turn this video into like, oh, yeah, revolution and all that. No, that's not what I'm talking about. The real revolution is you just being yourself. That's the truest form of revolution. Just be who you are. Whoever you are, just be that. The real challenge is, how do you stop everybody else from trying to change you into being who they think you should be? That's the real challenge. You know, maintaining yourself. That's why I like yoga. I like the physical aspect of yoga. I like the mental aspect of yoga. I like the spiritual aspect of yoga. It's a perfect recipe to help you maintain who you are, to discover yourself if you haven't discovered who you are, and to stay on track with your own path, with your own nature. Mate is the perfect drink for that as well. For me, at least, it just keeps you true. I don't know what it is with mate. Maybe it's the bitterness. Maybe it's the infused energy surrounding this plant. Maybe it's the mythology of friendship behind this plant. I don't know what it is, but mate just kind of helps you keep together, helps you explore your own self. Now, let me segue over onto fasting. Okay, guys. Now, again, do your own research before you start to fast. Do your own research. That's all I'm saying. Several years ago, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, I did my first fast. As I said already, I like to read a lot of books, always constantly reading, studying things. I just have to. That's just my personality. I just love absorbing information. And I happened to come across a book on fasting. I don't know what the title was. I have it somewhere. If I find it, I'll let you know the title. And I just read a book on fasting. Then I read another book. I read a couple books, and then I just started researching it. And then I started to see that there's a lot of health benefits to fasting. Now, I'm not going to go into all the health benefits, but let's just say that fasting, just like yoga, has physical benefits, mental benefits, and spiritual benefits. And I like things that have that trifecta, that unite the mind, the body, and the spirit. I like anything that has that trifecta, anything like feng shui, Zen, different sorts of spiritualities, different forms of religions and all these things. I don't know. I love studying these things because they all have the common denominator of uniting the mind, the body, and the spirit. Anything that unites the mind, the body, and the spirit, I'm interested in. So fasting fits those categories. Now, the first time I did a fast, I think I did, well, let's backtrack. There's different types of fasting. There's fasting where you could just half a day, you don't eat. There's fasting where for a day or two, all you do is drink smoothies or drink apple juice, juice fasting, what they call. Then there's another type of fasting where for a couple days, you just drink water. Then there's an extreme type of fasting, which I probably don't recommend, where you just don't do anything. You don't drink any water. You don't eat any food. For a couple days, it's just dry. I don't recommend that. I think you need the liquids. Again, I'm not an expert at fasting. I'm just sharing my experience. For what I like to do is, like, for instance, recently, last week, I did a 36-hour fast. 36 hours, day and a half, boom. I haven't fasted in a couple of years, probably 2 years, maybe 3 years, the last time I fasted. And last week, it just came to me. I was like, all right, after some years of just finding out who you are, finding out yourself, finding out the direction you're going into, you start to just, I don't know what it is. It sounds kind of crazy, but things happen where you just know to do something. I don't know what it is. It's like a voice. It's just like, all right, do this, do that. And then you just listen to it and you do it. So for me, last week, the voice just came and said, it's time to fast. You haven't fasted in a while. It's time to fast, Dave. It's time to fast. So I said, all right, yeah, you're right. It's time to fast. So just like that, I stopped eating for a day and a half, stopped eating. Now, what were some of the effects of this fast, this 36-hour fast? Well, I'm not going to give you a minute by minute, but basically, since I've done several fasts in the past, I already kind of knew what to expect. But I have to say that this fast was the easiest fast of my life. I didn't suffer the usual symptoms. Some of the symptoms you may experience, especially, and no judgment here, really, no judgment. But if you eat, horrible food, low quality food with low energy, food with high fructose syrup and corn syrup and all sorts of sucrose and sugars, if you eat a lot of those foods all day, the fast is going to be harder, much, much harder for you, because your body, number one, your body, when you're fasting and you stop eating, your body stops digesting. There's nothing to digest once your food gets cleared out after, let's say a day or so. Once your body is able to stop sending all this power to digest your food, other things start to happen. Like your body basically begins to heal itself, essentially. Like you'll notice, like if a dog or a cat, if they become ill, what they do is immediately they stop eating. They stop eating, and if they're out in the wild, what they do is they go to the water source. Why do they do this? Because they go to the water source, they go to an area where they can remain calm, where they can remain motionless. When you're motionless and you're calm, you're telling your body to heal. Just like if you have the flu or you have a very bad cold and you don't eat. Why don't you eat? Because you don't feel hungry. Your body is shutting off those responses that trigger hunger. Why? Because if you were to eat, especially eat a lot of food and the wrong types of food, when you were sick, your body would have to devote resources to digesting instead of devoting resources to healing. So based upon that logic, you could say, okay, well, I may not be sick, but in order to prevent sickness, in order to prevent disease, in order to enhance myself, let me be proactive and let me fast. That's the simple basis of fasting, the practical basis of fasting, to allow the body to repair itself, to allow the body to heal itself. But again, like yoga, fasting works on the mind as well. It works on the spirit as well. So for me, I just stopped eating. I kept on drinking mate, though. Some people may say, don't drink any caffeine, just drink water. I don't know. That's great for those people. But for me, I just do my own thing. And for me, I drink mate when I'm fasting. I listen to myself. I'll read other people's stuff and their opinions. But at the end of the day, I'm listening to myself. So for me, I like to drink mate. Now, like I said, the fast wasn't that hard. Fasting basically reboots your palate. So after the 36-hour fast, I don't eat a perfect diet. Sometimes I eat some things that aren't that healthy. But after the 36-hour fast I went on recently, my desire to eat those certain foods that weren't healthy was totally gone, if not significantly diminished. That's one of the benefits of fasting. It totally reboots your palate. It totally reboots, your desire to eat junk foods. It makes you want to eat healthier. It makes you want to eat less. Now, for me, I don't eat a lot of food to begin with. I'm one of those people that I eat minimal amounts of food. I don't know, maybe 1,600 calories a day or something. That's just me. It works for me. I find that if I eat too much food, it takes away resources from my brain. I need my brain power to be very sharp and very clear all day long. But for me, I notice that if I eat like a regular person, then it diminishes my brain power. And I don't want to diminish my brain power. So for me, I undereat, I guess you could say. I don't eat a lot of food. I eat small amounts of food. I'm like a bird. I just little food all day long. Maybe I eat 1,500, 2,000 calories. I don't track my calories. I'm just basically guessing. So after a fast, I want to eat even less, to be honest. After the fast, I noticed that I wasn't even that hungry. I just started eating a little less and less. Of course, my caloric intake went back up to normal for the most part. But I find that fasting makes me want to eat less. And if you do some research, you'll see that people that eat less amounts of food, they're healthier. Do the research. The research is all out there. The people who eat less food than the average American diet, their hearts are healthier, their glucose levels are better, their glycated hemoglobin, their A1C, research those things. Their cholesterol is better, their moods are better. So much research is out there already. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be an expert on those things. You could do your own research. But you'll see if you eat less, you're usually going to be healthier and live longer. I find that not necessarily mate, but I find that fasting has been a great testament to that. Now, fasting and mate, how do these things relate? Mate curbs hunger. The more mate you drink, not to say you should be drinking gallons of mate a day just to stop eating, but if you drink mate, you will eat less food. It's just a fact. I don't know how it works. Scientists don't know how it works. Scientists have theories. Something called gastric emptying is disturbed and you don't feel as hungry. So when I wake up in the morning, I drink mate, and sometimes I won't even eat food. Sometimes I won't even eat until 2 o'clock in the afternoon because I just had, tons of mate in the morning, maybe a quarter liter of mate in the morning. This is 2 liters. I'll probably drink about a quarter liter in the morning. I just won't even feel hungry. Not to say I don't eat breakfast, but mate just helps me to eat less naturally. I'm just not as hungry when I eat mate. That's just how it works for me, and how it works for tens of thousands of other people as well, perhaps hundreds of thousands of other people. Salud. Now, interestingly, after 24 hours of this recent fast I went on, I experienced something that I never really fully experienced prior, what they call a fasting high. So 24 hours into this fast, basically, I start to feel really like, whoa, I'm feeling like, like I took something nice. And I'm just like, wow, okay. I knew what was happening intuitively. I knew that different enzymes and different chemical compounds were entering my bloodstream and cleaning things up. And toxins were basically blowing through the roof. When you're fasting, toxins enter the bloodstream at an astronomical rate, maybe something like 1,000% increase enters the bloodstream, because your body's breaking them down. It finally has time to break down the toxins. It finally has time to deal with these toxins that were pent up in your system. Now that you're not digesting, these toxins get released into the blood. Different compounds called ketones enter the blood, break down these toxins, and sometimes they produce what they call a fasting high. This was the first time I ever really felt it clearly. I was pretty buzzed 24 hours in. So if you begin to feel like you're on a very mild hallucinogenic or a very mild sort of compound, natural hallucinogenic compound, it might happen to you 24 hours. And not to say you're going to be bugged out and tripping and things like that. No, but what I'm saying is sometimes after around the 24-hour mark, you start to feel just really like, whoa, like you start buzzing, your body's buzzing, your mind is buzzing, everything's buzzing. You start to feel more open. You start to feel like this energy, this power, like you can't even sleep. And yeah, I felt it in the past and other fasts before, but nothing like how I felt it this time. I don't know why. This time I felt it so much more than any other time. But it's just something to be aware of. Research that, Google fasting high. Google that just to kind of prepare your mind. It's nothing to be scared about at all. It's fine. I'm just sharing my experience with you. And then basically, so my fast was like this. I stopped eating one night at 10 o'clock. Then the next day at 10 o'clock, that's the first 12 hours. That's 1/3 of the way done. Then from 10 to 10 again, 10 p.m., boom, 24 hours. And then from 10 p.m. that night to 10 p.m. the next morning, you finish the last 12 hours. So that's 36 hours. That was my 36-hour fast. Very simple fast for me. For some people, that would be impossible. I hate to say it, but it's true. Some people couldn't even imagine not eating for that amount of time. So if you're one of those people, don't give up. You might just want to do an 8-hour fast. You might just want to do a fast where you wake up in the morning and you just don't eat until 4 o'clock or 2 o'clock. That's a great way to begin fasting, actually. That's what they call intermittent fasting, where you just fast by skipping a meal or two. That's great. You'll notice that the more fast that you do, the easier they become, the healthier you feel. Like I said, fasting detoxifies things. But now let's talk a little bit about my spiritual aspects as they relate to fasting. All right, guys. So for me, like I said, I never just deal with the material world. For me, yeah, I run a business, but I would never devote my life just to making money. Hell no, 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 no. I never devote my life to just the physical, material things in this place on earth. No way. Again, my priority here is to free myself. My priority here on this earth is just to free myself. It may sound selfish, but it is. It is selfish, because if you don't free yourself, how could you help anybody else? You know, several years ago, you saw me on YouTube, some of you guys, making tons of videos, spirituality, all this. I had hundreds of videos online. Then one day I took them all off. You know why? Because I was like, listen, people are following me too much. I don't want to become a guru. You know, I started getting so many emails from so many people all over the world, getting all these requests to do these things and this and that. I don't know. As much as you see me here on Facebook and YouTube, I don't want to become this thing where I'm on stage doing all these things. Nah, it's not for me. That's not me. It may sound like false humility to some people when they hear me saying this, but it's true. So I had to kill those videos, took them off, and I said, listen, I need to spend several more years. I need to spend the rest of my life, but at least I need to spend several more years just focusing more on myself. That's why I took down those hundreds of videos I had on my other channel, Mind Pedals. A lot of people are angry. I got a lot of hate mail for that. I got a lot of people saying, listen, that was my savior. That was my antidepressant, those videos. Why'd you do that? But listen, I had to. I didn't want to come off as a guru. I'm not a guru. I'm just a person sharing information, my own information. So I don't know where that just came from. You guys know me. I just like to randomly say things that aren't even connected to things, whatever. So back on track. For me, fasting, it clears my mind. It allows me to see things. It's highly metaphysical for me, fasting, in many ways. I guess you could say I'm an intuitive person. I'm the sort of person that feels energy, kind of sees energy. One of those people, you know, very intuitive. I've always been that way since I was a kid. You know, I could tell you sorts of stories where I've seen things and this and that, but I don't want to go into one of those videos. But basically, I'm in touch with different sorts of energies all over the place constantly. And for me, when I fast, I'm able to kind of make sense of these things. Fasting allows me to really kind of boost my creativity, I would say, in many ways. It kind of allows me to see things and manipulate different sorts of energies in my mind, and it allows me to kind of connect. I don't know. It's like if you fast, you'll notice that even on a physical level, a day or two after fasting, you start to see better. Your eyesight is improved. You know, you start to be able to see other people better in terms of what are their intentions? What do they want? Are they peaceful? Are they deceptive? You start to get to see through people better. You start to be able to love better, to share yourself better, to harmonize yourself with other people, empathize and sympathize with other people. It just makes you more open. It kind of opens up your heart, fasting. Now, I don't know how this works exactly in terms of the spiritual aspects. How does it work? I don't know. I have no idea. I could come up with some theories. Yeah, fasting puts this kind of stress on the mind, stress on the body, even stress on the spirit. Everything needs stress in order to grow. Yeah, that's probably true. Kind of like free radicals. The immune system needs free radicals in order to exercise. If the immune system had nothing to exercise with, the immune system would die. The immune system needs stress. And I think that to some degree, a lot of people may disagree with me, but I think that the spirit needs stress too. Everything needs stress. Everything needs some level of tension in order for it to grow, in order for it to detox, in order for it to clarify itself, and for you to go further and further. If you just stay the same without challenging yourself, you're never going to grow. Never going to grow. That's why I love yoga. It helps you grow. Lately, I've been doing this more physical yoga, which is good because I'm naturally a more kind of laid back person, but doing this physical yoga is helping me to grow in terms of just making myself, you know, like building that sort of heat energy. I'm more of a water sign. I'm more of a yin person, more of a laid back, kind of behind the scenes sort of person. So to do that physical yoga is good. Same thing with the fasting. The fasting, don't get it twisted. It's not easy. Even for me, that 36-hour, yeah, it was pretty easy, but there were times during that 36-hour fast where I was like, whoa, like you start to feel it. You really start to be like, whoa, I need to eat something. As soon as that blood sugar runs up, as soon as that glycogen level, you know, the glycogen, the stored glucose, the stored sugars in your blood starts to, you know, be released and starts to become dissipated, you start to feel really lightheaded and you just want to go eat a piece of cake or something. You have to fight that urge. In order to fight that urge, you need willpower. So fasting is building will. if you don't have willpower, there's nothing that you could do in this world. Without will, you can't do anything. You must build willpower, must build discipline. Drinking yerba mate throughout the fast definitely helped me maintain my chi, maintain my prana, maintain my energy. I drank it throughout the entire fast. It helped me to better appreciate the mate, better appreciate the taste of the mate. So what else could I say, guys? This was just a video of me sharing some information on things that I like to do, such as yoga. Check out yoga, explore yoga. There's so many different types of yoga, fast-paced yoga, slow-paced yoga, yoga that's kind of an integration of the both, strength-building yoga, psychological yoga. Check it all out. So much information online. Yerba mate, the herb that I love, drink it all day long. Works on my mind, works on my body. If you want to learn more about yerba mate, check it out at circleofdrink.com. And fasting, just research it. There's tons of books out there. You don't even need to buy a book. Just Google. Google's your best book. Just go onto Google, type something in, and you're going to get tons and tons of information. Some of it will be good. Some of it will be bad. Some of it will be mediocre. But just siphon through all that, and you'll find the information out there. All right, guys. So I'm going to check the YouTube page and see if anyone had any questions. If you have any questions, type them in now. You're probably watching this on YouTube. I'll be back in 1 second. Let me go check the YouTube page and to see if anyone had any questions. Type in your questions now, and I'll get back to you. Let's see. All right, I'm reading your questions. Drinking yerba mate now. That's awesome. The Pink Floyd. Time and now. What's up, man? Whoever that is. What's up, brother or sister? Someone's asking me if I eat meat. I've basically been a vegan for about 13 years. But to tell you the truth, I don't like these terms vegan, vegetarian. There are certain times when I will eat a little bit of meat here and there. Yes. It's very rare. I usually don't. And thank you, lovely subject. Appreciate that. Drinking mate. When am I releasing new gourds? I'll be releasing new gourds in a couple weeks, actually. Coconut, drinking mate and coconut right now. That's cool. Great talk. Awesome, guys. Well, let me get back so you can see me. Thank you guys for checking in, coming in with me on this little journey. I'm trying to make more videos, more with more regularity. I think maybe, I don't know. I don't want to give you guys any promises. You know me, I come up with these ideas and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this video on this. And then I don't end up doing the video, or the video comes much later. Too many expectations. So you'll see me when you see me. I'm kind of just all over the place doing different things. And sometimes I just wait for the energy to be right. I never force these videos. Like I said, guys, I deal with energy. And if the energy's right, the energy was right today. That's why I made this video. When the energy is right again, I'll make another video. This is an interesting topic, actually. A lot of times when you research like motivation, inspiration, things like that, and even different psychological websites, they're going to tell you to fight that urge of not doing something. Just do it, or it's never going to happen. Just do it, force yourself. I don't know. I used to believe that, but I don't believe that so much. I think that there's a happy medium to that. But for me, it's all about the energy. If the energy is not there, why do it? If you're not going to do it with the full force of the energy, I try to refrain from doing it. Then somebody may say, well, in order to get the energy, you must do it. Doing it creates energy. Whatever it is that's holding you back, that you want to do but you don't do, if you do it, then the energy will come. I think that's halfway true, actually, yes. But you got to find the line. You got to find that halfway line where the energy must be right and not being lazy, or forcing yourself to do something, or doing it when the energy is not right, just to do it because you feel like you have to do it. You have to build things. That's another idea for actually another video. All right, guys. Salud. Drink your yerba mate. If you have any questions, comment below the video. I'll get back to you. Peace. Namaste.